Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am so grateful that you have all joined me today. I'm not sure how you're all doing out there, but I'm going to guess that times are slightly trying right now. Things are stirring up, the winds of change are blowing, and it's an emotionally intense time right now. And we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday's show with Samantha, the full moon energies, the eclipse energies. Lots is going on right now, astrologically speaking, and it is absolutely palpable. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can kind of move through these times and how we can look at them and use them for our betterment and use them as the growth process that it really is. Because what I've been seeing come up a lot lately in my conversations with people over the last, especially week, has been this resurgence of these old issues that we feel like we have dealt with in the past, right? Do you feel like this? Like, oh, I thought I dealt with this. I thought I was working on this. Why is it back? Why is this happening again, right? And so this happens. It's so beautiful when this happens. Doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it at all. It feels awful because you kind of beat yourself up. But don't, because all this is another step up. Because the first time you got it, but you didn't get it all. And that's okay, right? And so now it's being presented to you again so that you can really get it, so that you can really understand it. Because if the lesson is not completely learned, then you're not done, right? So then you need to be provided the opportunity to look at it again and to examine it again and to really work through it and to see what it is that you're supposed to be learning. And to help you out here a little bit, if you don't know and it's really hard, a little hint is it's usually about self-love. Most times, and especially if you're listening to this show, most times when you are on this path, it will almost certainly come down to our sense of worthiness and our sense of self-love. And that comes down to our programming as we have grown up. And there is like not a single one of us that gets away from this feeling of unworthiness because society is unfortunately designed this way for us to feel this way. And our parents unwittingly do this to us in order to help us, right? They try to, pick us up and make us strong. But these little things, these little energetic moments that happen in our life, they make us feel a certain way. And then we carry this with us through our lives and they make us feel unworthy. And so when we can really look at ourselves and praise ourselves, we got to start patting ourselves on the back and praising our wins, because that is one of the best ways to start really loving yourself, is to see all of the ways that you are amazing, because there's millions of ways that you are amazing. And I really hope that you're not thinking right now, well, what ways are those? You do know those ways. And so I want you to admit them to yourself. Look at all of the ways that you are amazing. There's a million ways. And I know because you're listening to this podcast, that I can say for sure that you are a loving, compassionate, and kind, caring person. Because people who are working on their soul's evolvement and want to grow are loving, compassionate people. And that is like the best thing you could ever possibly be, right? And also, this lesson of self-love is a higher evolutionary lesson. If you think about it, the lower chakras, if you're stuck there and that's where you are along your journey, then you're not quite recognizing this aspect yet. So praise yourself at least, right? For that. The fact that you even recognize that you need to love yourself more means that you are way further along on your journey than you think you are. So pat yourself on the back for that and praise your wins. Praise your wins every day. Wake up and tell yourself how incredibly amazing you are, because you are. And that is the truth. You know, I've never had a session with a client in a QHHT session where I put them in a deep state of relaxation where we talk to the higher self. And I've never, ever, ever in 7 years of practicing this technique, have I ever had a higher self say anything different than that. Every single time, the higher self is so adamant about how loved you are, how incredibly amazing you are. And what's wonderful for these clients is that in these sessions, they can actually feel it. They can feel that love that they actually are, because that is all that you are made of. Remember, right? Where do we all come from? We all come from source. We are all fractals of the one love. And so we can be nothing else. And the only reason why we think we're not is because we've been told or programmed, or we've been telling ourselves unconsciously all our lives. And none of it is true. And so this is such a beautiful time in the universe right now to turn that right around. These energies that are present are helping us do just that, because we are going through this insane, intense, energetic transformation. And I'm sure you can all feel it. And this ascension process, this new earth process that we're going through, if you've been paying attention over the years, you can see its progress. It's been happening. This new earth is already here. And gradually and more and more people are stepping into the awareness of what is really important. And also, what is your truth, right? Living in that truth of this is who I am, and I am not making any exceptions for it. Not for anybody. Because where does that get you when you're sacrificing yourself? Is that loving yourself? Are you practicing self-love when you're doing what everybody else expects or wants of you? No, you're not. And it doesn't feel good. And the beautiful thing about this life is that we get to decide. And yeah, it might be scary to go against the norm and not follow the herd and not do what your parents want you to do, or your siblings or your partner or your children. But if it is what your heart wants, that is what you have to do. And the power in standing in that knowingness is so magical. And it's one of those things that you won't know until you actually do it. And also, it's one of those things that feels so incredibly scary because we're so attached to the outcome of what may happen if we do speak our truth. But if we can release that and not worry about it and say, you know what, actually, somebody may be triggered by this, but at the same time, somebody may be helped by this. And I can't make the assumption to know either way. And it doesn't matter either way. What's important is that I am telling the truth to myself and to others, living in total 100% integrity all the time. When you really start being honest with yourself and everybody else, you will see that life gets so much easier, because when we're not, what we're really doing, if you think about it, if you're not being 100% truthful, then you're lying and manipulating and controlling, whether it be yourself or others. And that is not the most high vibrational thing to do. And that, when we look at it like that, I don't think any single one of us would think, yeah, let's choose that option consciously. No, that doesn't feel good. We want to choose the higher vibrational option, the option that is of service to others and also in love of others and in love of self, in that way where you are serving the whole. And that is so huge right now, because this fear that keeps us back from speaking our truth is such an illusion, because we are born to do just that. We came here to be us, to just be, to be who we are, to live by our heart, to live by our passions, to live in love. And if we're not doing that, we're doing such a humongous disservice. And so it's time to stop doing that. The earth can't take it. We as a collective can't take it. We need to be supporting each other in our truth and in our honesty, and really be okay with it's all right, whatever happens, because I know in the end that this is for my best good, because there can be no other way when you do this. When you're living in this way, it always works out the way it's divinely supposed to. Living in integrity, it's like a rule, right? You live in integrity and things divinely work out like they're supposed to, because you are doing your job here. You are doing your purpose. And it's totally okay if people think you're crazy, because they probably will. And you know what? That's fine. It's one thing. That's kind of an easy thing to get over. I think for me, it's an easy thing to get over. All right, you can think I'm crazy. That's fine. That's fine with me. Because what does that matter to me if you think I'm nutty? My entire family thinks I am the biggest Looney Tune. And that's all right. They love me anyway. They make fun of me constantly. And I don't care, because I know they don't understand. I know they don't get it. And because I know they don't get it, I can have that forgiveness in these moments where I'm like, all right. And it's almost, for me, I'm like, sad for you that you don't get it. And you feel the need to make fun of me for it, right? It's like, all right, you'll get it one day. And I'm going to just sit here and love you and support you until you do, right? Because it's okay. It really, none of that matters. You can think whatever you want to think about me, because how is that affecting me if I don't let it, right? It's our choice. We get to decide if something like that affects us or doesn't. And yeah, sounds really easy, right? Like when things are hurtful that are said to you by people who you really care about. Of course it is. But we can practice these ways of just being able to let it go, because in our knowing of who we are, when we love ourselves to that extent that I know I'm an amazing being, that's when this rolling off the shoulder gets so much easier, because you see it clearly and you see yourself clearly, and you don't believe what other people are telling you because you know it's not true. And it does get simple. So a little bit of practice. I'm always saying this: practice, practice, practice. It really does make perfect. Because remember, you came here to do just that. And if you're not doing that then you're not doing your purpose. So practice all of these little ways of speaking your truth and recognizing your amazingness and patting yourself on the back for all of the ways that you are incredible. So last night, you guys, I went to my daughter's high school graduation on the night of the full moon. It was really, really a beautiful experience and a beautiful ceremony. And of course, I was all verklempt the whole entire time, because it was just, my baby is graduating from high school. And it was just like, oh, wow. I don't know where the time went. It certainly just went by in the blink of an eye. And the her creative writing teacher made such a beautiful speech that I want to read to you just a little portion of it, because what I saw during this speech was these teachers and throughout the night, these teachers really praising these kids for being themselves, for not being afraid to dream their impossible dreams and for standing up for themselves and for one another. And and they are a generation that I can see that really does allow things to just slide off them a little bit more because they do have more of an awareness. They have more of a enlightened beingness that they came in with this generation. It's really nice to see all these generations. They come up like another step in terms of evolutionary evolvement. And that's why they are our teachers. That's why our kids are our teachers. And I think that's just such an amazing thing to see ourselves and then to see the community also recognize that. And it gives me a whole ton of hope knowing that this is the generation that is going to be taking care of me when I am old. And any of you who are listening right now who are that age, I want you all to know how much we are just so in awe of you. Um and so here's a little bit of this speech because it was just so beautiful that this is the way that they are talking to the kids too about their dreams and about manifestation. So he was talking about beautifully empowered dreams that these kids have with an attitude. And for me, I think that attitude is such a beautiful strength in their knowingness of who they are. And so he said, because you've dreamed big, knowing that the bigger the dream, the more likely you'll achieve it. And as you lay awake at night in bed, you weren't afraid to manifest and imagine a perfect world. And don't you dare ever stop. Moving forward, as you continue your journey, I am sure your solutions to the world problems won't be obvious ones, but that's okay. Don't be afraid to shock people with your solutions. And when somebody calls you crazy for daring to dream the impossible, don't listen. Because it will take all of your dreams, 100 dreams, 500 dreams, 1,000,000 dreams to make a world of your design. Because whatever it takes, the world that you make is a world that I would be honored to live in. Whew, yeah, I had to stop like 3 times just to get through that because, all my verklempt from from last night just comes flooding right back. But it's also this energy of how much I feel in my heart, of how much I see this out in the world and I see it in you all. And I just am so happy and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to you all for doing the doing and for being you and for standing in your power and for speaking your truth. And so I encourage all of you to do it more so that we can encourage more of us to do it. Because the more of us that do it, the more others feel empowered to do it as well. How beautiful is that? I love you all so, so much. I'm going to leave you with a song for today. This is Rising Appalachia, Pretty Little Foot. Until next time, I love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
Well, who's gonna shoe your pretty little foot? Who's gonna glove your hand? Who's gonna kiss your red ruby lips? Who's gonna be your man? Who's gonna be your man? Who's gonna be your gonna glove your hand? Who's gonna